Hey everyone, Forgotten Realms first look today. It just came out about 11 a.m. my time, I think it was. So I took a quick peek at it. Looks pretty cool. I got David here with me. Have you taken a look at it yet, David?
I've perused it a little bit, but not a lot of time so far to really ingest it. There's some things I'm excited about that are in there.
All right. So if you guys have any questions on the chat, just fire them off and we'll try and look at the specific items. So let me share the Heroes book. I'll zoom in here. There we go. So look at the table of contents here. You got in the intro character options with 8 subclasses covering what's missing here. Bard, cleric, no barbarian. I see no barbarian. Cleric, fighter, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, wizard. No warlock, no barbarian, and of course no artificer. Backgrounds, a whole bunch of backgrounds, a whole bunch of feats, a whole bunch of origin feats, general feats, epic boon feats. And then this book, just for my quick, look at it right away when I got it, man, is it chock full of lore, which is what it's supposed to do. And I think it does it, looks like very thoroughly. Guide to the Realms in Chapter 2. I like it when they cover the calendar and how that works and, things like that. That makes the world seem more real when you're playing it. Go into different regions of the realms. A lot of detail on the gods. Aurora's whole Realms catalog is kind of a fun throwback to what, 2nd edition or 1st edition? What was that? I
I'm
think
not
it came out in
sure.
2nd. Magic of Faerûn, some new spells, new circle magic. Factions of the Realms. So we have our old Adventure League factions plus several more. Cult of the Dragons added. Purple Dragon Knights are in there, and they're using Amethyst Dragons for the Purple Dragon Knights. All right.
Some villainous factions in there too.
Oh yeah, no monk. That's right, Paladin.
No monk.
Yeah, some villainous factions. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's look at character options. So for the species, let's see what they have for I felt like they were just kind of talking about culture stuff here. Like there was no new actual mechanical aspects. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone online. It's more like, where do you find forest gnomes? Where do you find deep gnomes? And then they're pointing back to Monsters of the Multiverse for the mechanical aspects of some of these things.
That's consistent with what they suggested their goals for 2024 were, to put the crunchy bits for species in the player's handbook and leave the parts about how a specific species fits into a world for the world setting books. So fits.
Okay, so there's the species. No real mechanical settings there, more story stuff. And then subclasses. We saw these in the playtest, but here's the final form of them. And if anyone in chat wants to look at one specifically, hey, Anfern, not a fan for the Amethyst Dragons being added to the Purple Dragon Knights. What were they in original Forgotten Realms lore? Do you know, David? I'm not a big Forgotten Realms lore person.
No, but in the adventure book, it says that I can run a Forgotten Realms campaign without being the lore master of the table. So
Hey,
yeah, I don't
Boxing
know where
Nerd.
they fit in.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, I remember Purple Dragons. It was in a Dragon magazine, right? Long ago. And I don't remember what they did for Purple Dragons, if that was actually a dragon species in Forgotten Realms. If you know in the chat, let us know. Love to hear it.
I know
College of the
the
Moon.
preview of the Purple Dragon was pretty controversial because, I don't know,
No dragons were involved.
You got a pet as a
No
purple
dragons were
dragon, something.
Okay, there we go. Got some deep lore here from Paladin. Purple dragons got their name from an ancient black dragon whose scales started turning purple. Very cool. You got College of the Moon, Knowledge Domain, Cleric. That was always a favorite of a lot of my players to have Knowledge Domain. Banneret's kind of a new sounding thing with a fighter leading the charge into combat. Oath of the Noble Genies. There was Genie Paladins before. Winter Walker. A little bit of controversy there. Our friend Andrew pointed out that it's odd that the thing that's supposed to go kill wintry monsters does cold damage. It seems like wintry monsters wouldn't care much. Now
Huh.
they do ignore cold resistances, but then they're just doing regular damage to the cold monsters. I haven't looked at the balance for all these things, but some of these powers are kind of like, oh, that's pretty strong. Like Hunter's Rhyme, level 3. Ice Rhymes you and your prey, protecting you and hindering them. When you cast Hunter's Mark, you gain D10 plus your ranger level 10 hit points, and they can't disengage from you. That's one example there.
That seems like a lot, considering how often you might be casting
The 10 hit
Hunter's
points?
Mark. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get 10 hit points in this game, that's for sure.
I noticed a lot of ways to get heroic inspiration.
That was a new thing that I hadn't seen before that I saw. Where was one of those things that you saw that on?
The feats. They're all over the feats.
Okay.
So we can get to that later.
Yeah. Sign of the 3, Rogue. There's some, a lot of good coverage of the deities in the Forgotten Realms. A lot of good inclusion for that. I mean, this whole book is just chock full of really the setting. If you're going to do a Forgotten Realms adventure campaign, I would definitely recommend using this book. I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, use this book as your general resource for any campaign you're doing, because it really feels Forgotten Realms.
I think you make a good point, because they from what I've seen, they've succeeded in making this resources for a specific Forgotten Realms campaign, because the classes and the feats and all that other good stuff, it really feels like it leans into the Forgotten Realms and amplifies the flavor of it, as opposed to some of the other stuff was, these are the classes or subclasses we've had in the pipeline, so they're going in this next book.
Right. So the Banneret, kind of a knightly type of class, rally fellow heroes with inspiring leadership, knightly envoy, comprehension, cast comprehend languages, but only as a ritual. Polyglot, learn one language from the language tables. You can replace the language learned with another in the 24-hour period. Well-spoken, proficiency in one of the following. Group recovery is powerful. When you use your second wind to regain hit points, you can choose a number of allies within a 30-foot emanation originating from yourself up to a number equal to your charisma mod. Each of these allies regains hit points equal to D4 plus your fighter level. I guess that's not a lot of healing. Even at 10th level, it's 12 hit points. Can't use it again, so that's once per short rest. It's relying on your charisma modifier, so that doesn't help your attack rolls unless you have something in the subclass that does. So it is going to be pretty multi-ability dependent. Rallying Surge. So there's the Banneret. What do you guys think on that? The Skag version was not great. I don't even remember it from Skag. Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, right? Their new lord now makes it where a dragon a decade ago sides with them because folks in Kryn rode dragons. But how does Kryn play into Forgotten Realms? I don't know. It's not much better than Skag's. There you go. D4 plus level will scale well, though. When you think of a cleric healing gobs of hit points with a 4th level cure wound spell. Oh, it was called a Purple Dragon Knight in Skag. Interesting. And now, okay. There you go. Okay. That is some of the subclasses. Now let's look at, unless anyone wants to look at any others, the backgrounds.
Can we look at the rogue real quick?
Yeah.
What do they got going on for this rogue?
Okay, sign of the 3. Yeah, Bloodthirst at level 3. When an enemy you can see within 30 feet of yourself takes damage and is bloodied, after taking that damage but not killed outright, you can take a reaction, teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of that enemy. You can then make one melee attack. You can use this feature number of times equal to your intelligence mod. Okay, so an enemy you see in 30 feet of you becomes bloodied. Take the reaction. So, I mean, it's a power that lets you sneak attack one more time in a round. So that's good. Assuming there's an ally adjacent to that enemy that just got bloodied. So that's a potent thing for a rogue. Dread Allegiance, choose one of the 3. Gain a resistance to a type of damage and a minor cantrip. Minor Illusion sucks. Blade Ward's okay. Chill Touch is pretty good.
Oh, this is interesting. It draws power from Bane, Ball, and Merkel.
Yeah.
Tyranny, murder, and death.
Yeah.
So
family friendly.
You're this is
play the game you want to play, David.
Yeah.
If you want to be a murdering rogue, you can be a murdering rogue. Become a gruesome agent of malice. Let's see. Level 9 Strike Fear. You gain the following Cunning Strike option. You can frighten a target. Oh, that was one I want to look at. It was a feat under one of the classes that let you basically have advantage as long as you're bloodied. That seemed really strong.
Yeah, that's bananas.
You never want to get healed. Yeah. All right. On to background. See if we have any questions there. Much better. Managed attacks and saves is good. I've seen Minor Illusion as well. It's DM dependent. Oh, definitely DM dependent. And, world dependent. Do you let them put something right in front of their face that moves with them? Of course, it doesn't move, right? There's a lot of ways it can be kind of cheesed for sure. So I guess it would be DM dependent and not work well at my table.
I've always found Minor Illusion something hard to finesse as a DM because you want to reward players who like the creativity of Minor Illusion and fooling people all the time, because that's what's fun for them. On the other hand,
every single round they can do it.
It can get a little much if you're too generous with how much you can use it for. So,
and you got to watch out for the other players.
Yeah,
let one player just hog all the action. Okay, backgrounds. So backgrounds, I think the biggest downfall in 2024, and really the way I do it, and I bet a lot of DMs will do this way, is it's all tailorable. Just tailor it how you want. Pick your background. Use your background at my table for the equipment that you have, but then pick any proficiencies and any feat and any ability scores. Do you do it that way, David, when you run?
Yeah, that's the way I would do it. I feel compelled to dutifully use the backgrounds as written, but I'm always frustrated about it. So
when you make a character, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I say, go with the story aspects of it, go with the equipment it gives you, and then tailor the rest.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the way it should be.
Great art in this thing. I mean, with everything, there's a variety of art, but there's a lot of good art in here for sure. And a lot of good setting-specific art as well. And then we get into some of the backgrounds that come with the factions, right? So you have Emerald Enclave Caretaker, you have Flaming Fist Mercenary, you got Harper, Knight of the Gauntlet, Lords of Lion's Vassal, Mulhorandi Tomb Raider, that's cool. Mythal Keeper, Purple Dragon Squire. Is this one that has, no, it'd been their feats. One of their Purple Dragon feats. So yeah, everything's really tied into the world, which is cool. That's what you want for a setting book, in my opinion.
Right. What strikes me with the backgrounds and the feats in here that are tied to the backgrounds is how they've really managed to realize the dream of what they were trying to accomplish in 2024 with the backgrounds and the tied-in feats and everything, and making those sorts of things have mechanical benefits and mechanical, structure to them to pair it together. So you really feel like you've picked a background and you've picked a feat, and that's all tied in together. That amplifies what makes your character unique. You didn't really feel that in the player's handbook because all that stuff was pretty generic, but here it really comes across as that's what they were trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think really, really cool. Okay, so let's look at some feats. You have a list here, a bunch of boons, a bunch of epic boons, a bunch of general type of feats, and a lot of them have to do with the world. So Cult of the Dragon, Emerald Enclave, Harbor Agent, Lord's Alliance Agent, Purple Dragon Commandant, and Rook. I think it's the Commandant. Yeah, you have the advantage on all attack rolls while bloodied.
Wow.
That's gonna be problematic. Although, man, with this game, the way they did weapon masteries, it's like constant advantage. I'm not using weapon masteries, and I'm not missing it. I know I'm an evil DM, but it's easy to just ignore them.
It may be just coincidence, but whenever I looked at one of these feats, it turned out it was giving heroic inspiration to somebody for something.
Right, let's do a search. Let's find a couple of them that do heroic inspiration. Okay, Inspiring Strike. Once per turn, when you score a critical hit against a creature. Remember, that's how in the playtest critical hits were working. They would grant heroic inspiration. That's interesting that they kept that over the playtest. You can cause terror on someone if you're a Cult of the Dragon Initiate, and you gain heroic inspiration when you do that, if you don't already have it. Didn't they get rid of Dragon Fear from actual dragons? Am I just not remembering that right?
Somebody will have to answer that from the chat. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
someone in the chat, go and look in the monster manual. I think they did, and so it's funny that their initiates can generate fear when the dragon can't. There's heroic inspiration there in the Purple Dragon Rook. So yeah, Shintarm Ruffian, family first. If you have inspiration in your roll initiative, you can expand it to give yourself and your allies advantage on that initiative roll. Wow. So you don't just get a reroll on your advantage, you give everyone advantage on their initiative.
Yeah, that seems sweet.
That's pretty nice. So there's origin feats, 8 of those, all tied in the world pretty much. And then you got general feats. Cold Caster, get a cantrip. You do deal cold damage, temporarily negate the creature's defenses, and they have a penalty on saving throw. Fairy Trickster. Order's Resilience. All of them tied into the world again, which I think is really cool. There's some great art for Goliath. And Halfling. And then a bunch of epic boon feats, and that's it. So any questions on the character chapter? I'm not ruling on the minor illusion rule. Do as you will. Okay, no questions in the character chapter. Let's look at the next chapter then. So the next one is the Guide to the Realms. And this is just, a lot of world building stuff with amazing artwork here. I like how they put the artist front and center now on the artwork. You can see that there. I did find one section of one of these 2 books where they missed that and they're all blank. So, but they can errata that online. No problem. So you got the calendar, which I think is cool. Should talk about 10 days. Yep, 10 days, no special names. I always like it when they cover the moons of the world, when the moons look different than our world.
Yeah.
We got a timeline here, which they've advanced the timeline quite a little bit, up to 1501.
Got the Spell Plague and the Sundering in there. So
yep. Got types of currency, adventures. We're going to take a peek at the DM book here near the end of this, so that we won't spoil it for regular players, but then I'll do a whole separate one just on the DM book. There are so many little mini adventures in there. A lot of content in there. Map of the Forgotten Realms. The maps are enormous. If I open in a new tab the player book, this thing is 4,000 by 2,700 pixels. So really big maps. Hey,
that's cool. I've got the big Forgotten Realms map that came in Dragon Magazine on my wall over there.
Yeah.
And, it's nice to see the overlap of the regions set out from my big map.
Yeah.
Nifty.
And then, so this is the player book. So this is player-facing information Oh, here's standard languages. A whole bunch of, specific to Faerun languages. A whole bunch of them. And then let's just look at one of the regions. Aurora, have an overview. What realms are there? Tribes, Empire Shadows, and Tarim caravans. A whole lot more kind of content in this area than I remember from before. And this map, if I open this in a new tab, is 3,900 by 4,000. So enormous maps. And we share this tab instead, see if it works. Yeah. So if you blow it up and zoom around in it, a lot of good detail on these
that's
detail
cool.
maps. Yeah.
And I see that it's not just the desert. There's the
They
surrounding
put a bunch of
region
new
that's
stuff in there.
included.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there are adventure locations from past adventures highlighted in there. Kind of looks like it with all those X's and squares.
Yeah. There may be the Black Road, one of the famous adventures from Adventure League that everyone loved. What rolls through there? Yeah, that's a nice looking map. And it's, there's one of those for every realm. Share this tab again. There's player versions of it too. So you can, it's funny in the player book, there's a player version. So you can look at a version that has nothing shown, no settlements, no roads, no nothing shown on the player version.
That might be taking the player version a little too far.
Yeah, a little bit in the player book. So you got your different tribes, the Empire Shadows, Centaurum caravans, Anorak features, noteworthy sites, life in Anorak. Nice artwork there. That's cool. Is that like a Netherese city that's crashed to the ground? Let's see. Yeah, Netherese ruins and Anorak show the influence of the Shadowfell. Really cool stuff in here. Okay, so then you have Arcane Empires. And again, that's going to be a huge map when you blow that up. Forgotten Lands. Stuff far to the east. Heartlands, be the Dale Lands and such. Cormanthor.
It's really nice. This is the first time in 5th edition that a lot of these regions have had any description for the current edition.
Yeah. And these maps are by Mike Schley, and they look great. And he'll probably have big versions, maybe even bigger versions for sale on his website. But the ones that come with the adventure, let me open this one up. Open in new tab, open image in new tab.
Yeah, I'm ready to buy a box set of all these maps, poster size. I would lay down some cash for that. That sounds cool.
4,000 by 3,000 pixels. So enormous. How much on Rashomon? I'll look here. I have it coming up, and one player wants to get it from there. Rashomon, that's going to be in the Eastern Realms. So look at that. Heartlands, Forgotten Lands. It's close. Arcane Empires. There it is. Rashomon. Oh, and look at that. If I go to Arcane Empires, I have this map, including Rashomon in it. Englaran, Thay. Where's Rashomon on this map? But then I go to Rashomon, it's got its own separate map. It must be further up north or something along the coast. That's probably why. But yeah, so there's the section on it. And then it goes into Thay after that. So you got Lands of Intrigue being the southwest. You got the north being everything north of, just north of Waterdeep, it looks like. And the big high forest area. And then you got Old Empires being everything way to the southeast. Sword Coast from Waterdeep down to Baldur's Gate and a little bit south. Trackless Sea, including Lantan and Moonshae and Nelanther. can tell I've never DM'd anything there. On reach, man, just amazing stuff in here. Beyond, and then beyond are all the miscellaneous things around the perimeter. There we go. That's chapter 2. Any questions there for chapter 2? Brent, welcome. From what I can tell, I looked at the Black Dragon stat block and Wormling and the Young No Fear ability. Adult and Ancient can cast Fear. Okay. As a legendary. Okay. Nice. Dr. Tui, thank you for joining in. Currently running Tyranny of Dragons. New backgrounds sound amazing for that adventure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, anything you're running in Forgotten Realms, this stuff looks good. The maps are definitely incredible. Okay, so now let's go to that's chapter 2 of the book. Chapter 3 of the book is Gods. And this is a big section. You can see how small my scroll bar is. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, wow.
Amazing stuff on amazing artwork of the gods. This is Saloon, the Moon Maiden, and Shar, the Mistress of Night. Because if you're doing a setting, you really need to dive deep into all the factions, all the gods, all the currency, all the regions, and they're doing it in these books. Really well done. The afterlife, religious institutions, temples and shrines, communing with the gods, priesthood, divine magic. Okay, then here's Faerunian Pantheon, the deity, the home plane, the typical worshippers. And I think every one of these gods gets an entry. And an entry looks like this one. Here's Manunator, Keeper of the Eternal Sun, Light of Law, Yellow God. Nice holy symbol artwork for each of them. And that's it. Then there's Osmodius, Arl, Azuth, Bane. Some get more than others. Knights of the Black Gauntlet. So they talk about military orders for Bane. Bashaba, Baal. And so, yeah, they go through all the gods. Just a huge section. If you want to see a specific god, let me know in the chat. I'll zero in on that. Saloon. With an organization there for her, Shar. Mistra. Agma. Great stuff. So that's the god chapter on deities or gods. And then we got Aurora's Whole Realms catalog. So this was like a whole bunch of products that came out. Can't remember exactly when, but they're like these just all sorts of kind of neat little random, kind of almost common magic items, or really powerful. I guess that's a common magic item. Ring Common Adventures Ring, Prosthetic Limb, common item. Wind Skiff, common item. Oh, that's a rare magic item. 4,000 gold for that. And they have nice artwork here showing each of these things. That's really cool. Genie Robe lets you, while wearing a Genie Robe, you have advantage on ability checks made to influence elementals associated with that plane. Locking Spellbook. Let's see, you got Mechanical Wonders. You got mounts and other animals. Axebeak, Flying Snake. Good old flying. Oh, that's great artwork for a flying snake.
It's got a message.
Yeah, it's carrying a message. Tools, travel, and vehicles. Got the wizard van there, all decked out. Get in, nerds. We're going to Gen Con. All right. Let's see. Got any questions? It is very rare for a Wizard of the Coast book to have prices in it. Yeah, this one's got prices. Magic got prices in it, right? Okay, then the next chapter in the player's book is Magic of Faerûn. And all these spells, I did a quick peek at these. They're really tied to their creators. So there's Kelvin Blackstaff, right? Or Bajra Shafar? I thought that was Kelvin. Maybe it is. Maybe that's who it was before being Kelvin. The Weave, Spellfire, Wild Magic, Dead Magic, High Magic, Mythals. It's kind of disconcerting having the kids' cartoon characters in the Forgotten Realms. There's a little bit of that spattered through the book, but you can just ignore it if it's not your thing. Circle magic, casting options. Cool picture there of Illustrial. Okay, then you got spells. So here's the list on the left. Many of them named after individuals in the Forgotten Realms. Elminster's effulgent spheres being one. 6 chromatic spheres orbit you for the duration. You can absorb energy to get resistance. Expend 1 to get resistance. As a bonus, you can send 1 hurtling toward a target to make a ranged spell attack and do damage to it. And in Zerlif, no more spheres remain. And you can get more spheres with a higher level spell. I think they have a picture of it here. There's Elminster casting it. Looks like he's fighting Menshun, maybe? There.
Yeah, could be.
I think so. Symbols, Sin.
Easy for you to
casting
say.
it here. Not casting it here. Sin Stad Dweomer. I don't know. Dweomer. Songol's Elemental Suffusion. Spellfire Flare. Spellfire Storm. So again, just really wrapped up in the lore of the world. I think really well done in that regard. Vajra is the new Blackstaff. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. I think that she was in like Waterdeep Dragon Heist. I think that's where I remember seeing her. All right, then after chapter 5, where you have all the magic spells, you have chapter 6, the factions. And so you have Cult of the Dragon, Emerald Enclave, Harpers, Lord's Alliance, Order of the Gauntlet, Purple Dragon Knights, Red Wizards, Zentarum, Criminal Syndicates, other organizations. Let's look at the Red Wizards real quick. They and Knights, Goals and Activities, Dweomer in Disguise. I saw this art, and this is pretty cool. They do kind of like a kit out for each of these organizations. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
So that's a kit out for a Thayan Wizard. Spells and quill and spell book and dagger and a bell probably for some spell. Little candle, black candles, a wand. Really neat. A whole bunch of stuff. In
Back
each
up.
organization.
Did we see Red Wizard Renown up there?
Yeah. Each organization you can get renown within too. So you start out knowing the location of a Thayan enclave around Faerun and can enter and stay in them. And you end up with the first time your renown score reaches 50, the Red Wizards give you a very rare magic item from the Rod, Staff, Wand, or Wondrous item category. And everything in between. You gain renown by completing quests for the faction, acquiring powerful magic, contributing to the reconstruction of Thay, etc. So it's pretty interesting. They have renown for a lot of different things. So if we look at Purple Dragon Knights, for example, there's a Purple Dragon Knight shield. Here's a kit out for the Purple Dragon Knight. I really like that artwork. Taking the purple, the dragon, and the knight, renown rewards. So here's Purple Dragon Knight. You have a comfortable lifestyle for free at Purplemont, the faction's fortress in Suzail. You are asked to take care of an amethyst dragon egg until it hatches. You can call the High Knight to perform a major favor for you, etc. And you gain renown by defeating aberrations and members of the Cult of the Dragon, defending Cormyr from its enemies, and assisting amethyst dragons. If your campaign doesn't use renown, your DM determines if and when characters earn these perks. And then you get benefits, Purple Dragon Knight characters. You get equipment, you get a trinket, which you pick from a list here. Dragon quests, ideas for adventures for you. Each one of them comes with like a bastion area. So if you're creating a castle or a keep or something like that, it'll be
that's
special
interesting.
items. Yeah.
I would not have expected bastions to show up in subsequent books, but
Right.
color me wrong.
Here's an amethyst dragon den that you can put into your castle. It's kind of neat. I get a picture of Merlin going down into the crystal cave below Camelot.
That's got great Bat Cave / Fortress of Solitude vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. How many spells have a gold piece for the components? If we look in spells, let's see. A moonstone worth 50 gold pieces for that one. Nothing, nothing, nothing. A brass cog, so just your spellbook or whatever. I mean, just your staff or other focus. Onyx worth 50 gold, which gets consumed. So death armor consumes some gold. Powder gemstones with 100, which is consumed. So that one does. Nothing. Regular components. Focus worth 1,000 for Elminster's effluent spheres. So I'd say maybe a third of them do. Silver pin with 250. Yeah. So there are several for sure. All right, back to factions. Let's look at a Harper. Got your Harper pin. A bunch of disguise stuff, wigs and things of that nature. I like the loadout pictures for the other factions. Maybe it's just the dark one. Maybe I was just looking at the evil ones.
Only the evil ones get cool gear.
The cool gear, yeah. They vary. Harpers. So you have a code, you have watchwords, organization, joining, personas, renown. You can request a single audience with the high Harpers. Once you have used this reward, you can't do so again. Member benefits. A Harper hideout you can add to your bastion, or make a bastion that is a Harper hideout, I assume. Nice artwork for all these hideouts, or all these bastion things too. Let's go with what the Red Wizard bastion looks like. Ooh, that's pretty appropriately dark.
Yeah.
Skeletal bastion defender rises from its coffin in Red Wizard necropolis. Red Wizard necropolis, yeah. So nice, neat stuff there.
If I'm joining a group based on the Bastion, I'm going with the Purple Dragon Knights.
Yeah, the Bastions are cool. And then you got your appendix, Atlas of Faerûn, which is maybe, okay, so here's the whole world in one map. If I right-click that, open image, a new tab.
Do we know if this is going to come with a poster map in the print version?
In the actual book, I don't know. Good question. 4,000 by 2,900. If anyone wants to go look at the marketplace and see what their write-up says, if it does or not, let us know in the chat. It's funny, they have a section called Atlas of Faerûn, but they have maps all throughout the rest of the book. And they only have one map back in the Atlas. So don't forget that there's maps everywhere else in the book. But this one takes them all together. Really nice.
That might be the map that appears in the as a insert in the hard copy book.
Yeah. Harper's are covered. They wouldn't have a loadout except the pin. Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. Okay, so that is the player's book. A quick first look. Let's look at the so spoilers now. We're going to look at the adventures in Faerûn. And this thing is chock full of little adventure ideas. Introduction, running the realms. And each one of these lines is a little adventure idea, like a one page has a map or refers to where a map is in the DMG, and then gives a little outline for adventure and a few opponents to face and a few magic items.
Similar to the adventures that are included in the DMG.
In the DMG, exactly.
And you ran at least one of those DMG.
Yeah, I ran the first one.
I noticed that you added quite a bit of your own material to the adventure. How did you feel about running it and adding to it?
It was fine. It went great. As is, it was a little short. That's why I added more stuff to it to fill out 4 hours. But if you're trying to fill out 2 hours, I think probably any of them as written would probably fill 2 hours for sure.
Did you
and
feel
some of
like
them would fill 4?
It was a useful head start, or just
because I really like. I mean, I like a location and foes with plans, and that's what it does.
That's what you get. You get
You
a
know,
location, some treasure items, a map,
some foes, hopefully with plans.
some bold-faced creatures,
Yep.
and it's off you go.
Yep. And then the players make the story.
Yep.
Chapter 2 covers the Dale Land. Okay, then they have like one chapter per area. And we'll just look at one of these areas because they go into a lot of detail. And then, so they have Dale Lands, Icewind Dale, Calimshan, Moonshade Isles, Baldur's Gate. If you're running a campaign in any of these locations, there's a ton of stuff there for you.
Yeah.
Our friend Cade said he looked at there's one more. He said he looked at Icewind Dale. He just finished running a campaign there. And what it's got in here, you'd want to run another campaign.
My last campaign was set in the Dale Lands, and
Nice.
I'm excited to see what they did with it because
actually, let me back up. Let's take a look first at a sample adventure. Then we'll go back.
Yeah, I was drawn heavily from earlier releases to draw inspiration and material.
So each adventure has a name, a short blurb of what you're doing, what kind of tie it has. Like this one's tied to a deity, the situation, the hook, and then some adventure, counter ideas, and then a map. And the maps are all, or not all necessarily, but a lot of them are by Mike Schley. They look really good. You know, and this little adventure hook, it'd fill probably 2 to 4 hours for sure. And there is like 50 of these. Then some of them don't have maps, but they refer to another book for a map. So here's a new map. Robert Barron. Here's one. So this one uses the Dungeon Hideout map in the DMG. So if you refer back to the DMG. But a lot of them come with new maps. Weeping Goddess. Fury. I think that's Fury. Yeah. Fury Grove. Tenebrous Stone. This one's free. You can grab this one for free if you want to see what one of these looks like. They're all short, like one page type thing. The Drowning Forest. And then let's see what level they go up to. Heart of Fire is level 13. So the high end one is level 13. Recover a sword from a dragon's lair. Nice sword too. Holy Avenger, great sword. Sacred Storm. And I don't know if this one has a map. Awesome picture. From a dragon's lair. Do you see the map here? Here it is. Use the Dragon Lair map in Appendix B of the Dungeon Master's Guide. And if you have that, it's linked for you. So I'll share this. There's the Dragon Lair map.
That works.
Yeah. Go back and share this one. Catch up with our comments. I much prefer the adventure format since 2024. I'm running Wild Beyond the Witchlight and it's homework. Yeah, that's the thing with the adventures that are like a lot of content. You feel like you have to really study to find out everything you should do, where you should just feel okay to let it run how the players, approach it and not feel beholden to make sure you got it all right necessarily. Okay, then let's look at Dale Lands. To see what you get with one of these more in-depth regions. So you got like 50 adventure ideas up to level 14. Then you come to the Dale Lands. And more awesome artwork, epic artwork. Dale Lands campaigns. Classic fantasy, Mysterious Frontier, Myth-Drenor, so kind of like what you find there. People of the Dale Lands goes into Landborn Community, People of Many Species, Town and Country, the Dales Council. Cormanthor and Myth-Drenor. So Cormanthor, Land of the Elves, and Myth-Drenor, the ruins of once the greatest city in Faerun. Different type of map there with that one. You got locations in Myth-Drenor. Got a map of the Dale Lands. Again, this is it. Beautiful map. Gazetteer of the Dale Ends, so it takes you into the different areas. Arkandale, Battledale. What is Elminster from? Daggerdale? Or is it Shadowdale? Do you remember, David?
I don't.
Let us know in the chat. Where's Elminster from? Shadowdale. So there's a detail. Oh, there it is. Elminster Tower.
There you go.
Detail map of the Shadowdale area. Monastery of the Sun Soul. Then you got Dale End stories, Dale End conflicts. Here's where it kind of lays out some ideas for short campaigns. So here's Heroes of the Dale Ends. Tells you what to do for levels 1 through 4, levels 5 through 10. Use the Lost Library of Lechantos in chapter 7. So that's an adventure. There's like a full adventure in the book. And then their success in this quest brings them to the attention of Lady Sulwood, who sends them on the adventure of the Tomb of Damara in this chapter. So in this chapter, here's an adventure. So each of these areas has more adventures. You have the 50 generic adventures in the front, or maybe it's not 50 in the front, maybe it's 50 total when you count what's here too. But you have these other adventures here. Recover an artifact from an undead ogre. And a nice little map. That'd be a good 4-hour session. And then another one, Restoring Freedale. And then Temple of Transmutation. So I guess each region is going to have several adventures after it talks about the DM toolbox or the Dale End, the conflicts. So here's, you have that type of campaign, the Heroes of the Dale Ends. Then here's Moander, God of Rot campaign, all the way up to 20th level. And then into the DM's toolbox, and you got renown of the region. So you have the renown of your factions, and now you got renown for regions. So characters gain renown with the Dale when they defend it from danger, explore adventure sites there, contribute to the health and prosperity of its citizens, etc.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. These books are really well done, I think. So I have to go because I got to get ready for, I'm going to be doing this next. Let me show you guys. Share this tab instead. Running Curse of Strahd tonight and Thursday. But probably next week, we'll dive deep into the DM book and look. I want to look at one more thing before we go, and that is maybe drow and orcs. Because remember they said those monsters that were missing from the DMG or the monster manual will be in the different regional books.
Oh, do they have monster listings for those creatures in there?
So let's take a look. Come here to share this tab instead. Bestiary. And Drow of Loth. Now, it's a little disappointing because they just took the 4 types of Drow that were the little monster manual instead of Loth at the end of them. You got your Drow of Loth, your Drow Elite Warrior of Loth, Drow Mage of Loth, etc. But they are updated with new 2024 kind of setup to them. So there's 4 different types of Drow. Just your basic CR 1/4 Drow, your Elite Drow, a Mage, and a Priestess.
Perfect. That's what we've been looking for.
You got that. And then I don't know that there's orcs. I'm missing orcs. Yeah, maybe there's no orcs here. Because in this area, there's no orcs that are specifically some sort of faction or cult of a great evil. They're just going to be your regular NPC classes.
Look at some of those other listings. Manchun, Nimblewrights. Cool.
Cool Manchun. Nimblewright. That was in Waterdeep Dragon Eyes. You ran into one of these?
Yeah. I've got one in my the adventure that I'm working on now. So
Spirit Dragon, that's the dragon with the antlers that we couldn't figure out before. Were Wyvern, that seems like that'd be dangerous. And Zent, Zent Soldier, Zent Paladin, a Bane. Where is the Red Wizards? Oh, cultists. They got some cultists that are specific to the deities. A Bane, cultists of Bane, cultists of Baal, and cultists of Miracle.
That's good because the cultists in the monster manual are pretty flavorless.
Yeah. These books can cure all my anxiety about having to run adventures in the Forgotten Realms. My alt covers are on the way. Thanks for the preview. Yeah. If you're wanting to run a Forgotten Realms and make it feel Forgotten Realms, these are some great books. And with that, we'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, folks.